Welcome back, guys, to another episode of A-Town Talk, the #1 podcast in Anthony, Texas.
The only
one. Today, I'm joined by Raleigh and Sal, and our guest today is a very special guest, Priscilla Miramontes Lamb from Pristine Moments. I got it right.
You got
it right. Thank you for joining us today, Priscilla. Welcome to the pod.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
I know it had already been, a few weeks, huh?
It's been a while, yeah. We've been back and forth for some time now. We have to reschedule a couple of times, but we finally got it, and we're here.
Yes.
So thank you for coming. And you brought gifts.
I did.
Yeah. Which we'll be getting into here in a bit.
Okay.
I say towards the end.
Towards the end?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not right now.
You want to do it right now? Well, it's because there's a gift, there's a present inside.
Yes.
Are they all different?
Yes, they're all different. So
I'll go last.
All right, so you want to pop yours first?
Are we going already?
Or let's just go for it. Yeah, we got to start the episode with the bang.
You got to understand something, though. I don't like balloons popping. So I don't know how to handle this.
Well, I'll have you guys know that right now, because we're going to stick a needle and a pin through it. But that we'll get into it, as the episode goes on. But the quality that I use, the balloons, they are so durable, you guys. It is insane how strong that latex is. But anyway, so I know you're scared. I'm sorry, friend.
I have a latex allergy.
But I promise it'll be... I'll pop it for you. Don't worry, Ron. I got you.
All right.
Just kidding.
All right, Sal, pick one. The white one has glass inside.
Just be careful with that one when you pop the top. Right there, let me move my phone.
You ready?
Yeah.
You got it. Do it.
Shots fired. Hey, Jack Daniels. Now you got to chug it, dude.
Do it.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, and that you can
All right,
just
so me next.
So I assume they're just all alcohol?
Yes, of course. Come on now.
Because
you guys like to drink, right?
Because we're alcoholics, apparently. All right, here we go.
I used to be.
3, 2, 1. Hey, fireball.
Fucking chug that shit, Johnny.
Oh, dude. Oh, it's tied to it.
Okay. Yeah, that one I had to use the fishing line.
Oh, okay.
Just because I was experimenting. So remember, guys, I'm still learning.
All right.
Still learning
Well,
as I go.
I'll leave it like that because it looks cool. Raleigh, you're next.
Oh, I was going to go last at the end of the episode. So I have to go now then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, just do it now. That way, oh, well, you're not drinking, but you can save it.
I'll add it to my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just squeezed it. I didn't get to fucking pop it.
What is that one?
Some Yukon Jack apple.
Oh, shit. I don't think I've ever had that.
I assume it's like Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Honestly, I went to the gas station and I told one of my buddies works. I told her, I need 5 shots of whatever. Give me what you got. So she's like, okay, I got you. So she just picked one off the shelf. She was just going like this.
We can use it for the next time we have the whiskey glasses. We can use it for the whiskey glasses. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for the gifts.
You're welcome.
I always say, whenever we have like female guests, they always bring gifts. All of them. The males, you guys need to step it up.
You know what? Honestly, it's
There we go.
I'm telling you,
That works.
they're tough. They're tough.
Very
For real.
durable.
Damn. Start using those as condoms, Johnny.
Stop. When I was putting them on the bottle,
Yeah.
I was just,
You're stretching it out.
listen well. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Practice safe sex, guys.
Fuck Trojan.
kidding, guys.
What's this brand of balloons?
I'm sorry?
What's this brand of balloons?
Okay, so the ones you guys have on right now is a combination of Calisan and Tough Tex. So those are, as balloon artists, and I'm sure every other artist can relate. When you're starting your business, I started off thinking Amazon balloons were gonna be it. You were gonna do it with the Amazon balloons, but Amazon balloons, the Walmart balloons, the quality is just not there. They're very, very cheap. Mm-hmm. So as I did my research, I went online. I was looking up videos on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I'm like, what is that? And then because it had beautiful colors, and that's honestly what first drew my attention was the color of the balloon. I'm like, where can I get that color? Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't until I started reading the descriptions, I would even reach out and contact some of the artists, like from California. There's one in Oklahoma that I've messaged her, and she's a sweetheart. She messages me back, always answers my questions, so that's awesome. But they're the ones that I saw the description. I saw they tag the companies like Tuftex, Calisan, Qualitex. So I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. So when I first ordered my first batch of Tuftex balloons, dude, those things are like, they're so strong. The latex is so strong. It's like a bicycle tire. Like, I'm like, holy crap, like this is good, right? And so those are the top two brands that I personally prefer is the Tuftex and the Calisan. So yeah. Okay.
Well, if you guys haven't pieced it together by now, Priscilla here is a balloon artist, right?
Yes. So I started my business back in April, and this actually goes back to last summer. So last summer, I have a daughter. She's 10 years old. Her name's Sophia, and I only have my one baby.
Shout out, Sophia.
So, yeah, she helps me a lot, you guys. She's
subscribe.
She's awesome.
Actually, she probably shouldn't watch this. So.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
But, no, she's great. So her birthday is in June. Mm-hmm. So every year we have a party because we go all out for her, because she's my only daughter. Yeah. So last summer, my in-laws came in from Nebraska. They flew in, and we invited all my family, all our friends, and she had the strangers theme party. So I was like, I can do a cool theme like black and red, and I can do the foquitos like like in the show. And dude, when I went and I bought my balloons from Amazon, thinking this is gonna be easy. How hard can it be? Dude, I was putting it together and it was so difficult, and the balloons kept popping, and I'm like, I was like, how do these people do it? Like, this is a lot harder than it looks like. Yeah. And it's very time consuming. People underestimate how much time it really goes into it. And I had just bought, off of Amazon, just the cheapest arch I could find, mm-hmm. the cheapest balloons, thinking I can do this. No, it does make a big difference. The quality of your materials, the quality of your tools, all of that goes into play. So anyways, for me, when I did the arch, I put it together because all my guests were already arriving. So I'm like, I'm just going to have to leave it like that. But no me quedé a gusto. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, this looks so ugly. I was like, how do these professionals do it? And I've always been very competitive and with myself. So I was like, I need to figure out how they do it because I'm going to do it. Yeah. So that's how it all started, right? That little espinita was there. And then months pass, right? And then it's February timeframe. And my sister, I'm the oldest of three. So It's me, Amber, and Diamond. Diamond was like, hey, sister, I'm going to have a Galentine party. You should make me a garland. And she was like, I'll buy you the material. And I was like, okay. So she got me the material, same thing, Amazon, and some cheap balloons. Well, I was able to layer the balloons and able to adjust them and fix them to make it look nice, but they were still very translucent. You could see through it. Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it's just Amazon balloons.
Amazon. At this point, it's still Amazon. At this point, I didn't know about brands. I didn't know about sizes. I didn't know about oxidation. None of that. If you have it inside, if you have it outside, none of that. So anyways, so I tell her, yeah, you know what? I'll do the garland for you. And it came out really nice. But I didn't like that you could see through the balloon. You could see someone walk by that. And mm-hmm. and when you go on Instagram and you look at these balloon artists and their pages, those balloons are solid. They're solid. You cannot see through them. So I'm like, what?
Even these, that white one.
Yeah.
It's white, and usually white balloons are pretty see-through, and that one's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the quality, it's the latex that they're made from, and they're all biodegradable. They're very eco-friendly balloons.
Yeah.
So which is funny. I'll get to a story on the durability right now.
Okay.
So anyway, so when I piece it together, I was like, okay, I like it, but I don't love it. Well, one of her friends was like, hey, how much would you charge me my birthday's coming up, how much would you charge me to do a garland for me? And I told her, you know what, well, let me do my research, let me look into it, and then I'll let you know. So I did. I went and I started researching the brands, and then that's when I started reaching out to people, and they started giving me advice. So then I ordered my first first order of balloons. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I received it, I started putting it together. I started doing because you have to keep in mind that my first 3 installs were out of pocket. Like they were free for my clients, but I paid for them.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that is because with any business, when you're starting off, you need to get out there. You need to, network and meet people. And when you're first starting, you got to
give a little bit to get back eventually. Yeah.
Exactly. And, I had just started. I didn't really have content on my page. So I remember the very first person I ever approached was Martha over at Fun Pics and the boba shop here in Anthony.
Yeah.
And I remember I went up to her, and the reason I chose her was because I had never been to her boba shop before, and I was so excited that there was a boba shop in town. Because Sophia and I, we always go to the farmers market in Cruces. So she would always get her boba tea over there. So I was like, oh, sweet. It's local now. I don't have to drive all the way out there. So I go out there and I said, you know what? This would be a cool client to have. We could just mutually benefit from each other, because I can do an awesome garland for her, to show, that they're open. Because I had never heard of the shop before. I'd never been there. Mm-hmm. And so one day I go in there, right? And I was like, hi, may I speak to the owner of the shop? Because I'm very outgoing, so I'm not shy at all. And so I go in there, and I met her. She introduced herself, and I told her, I'm starting a balloon backdrop business. I'm local. I live right down the street, and I would love to do a space-themed garland for you. And she goes, we discussed dates, and she was like, you can come in at this time, blah, blah, blah. So I did, and I went on, I ordered the balloons. I remember I even got the foil balloons, the space, the astronaut, the Earth planets, and all that. And it was my first one that I actually was because I included foil balloons. I had never used foil balloons before.
What are foil balloons?
So foil balloons are balloons that are made out of, it sounds foil. They're not latex. They're very
the ones you do for graduations.
Yes,
or
okay. There you go. The numbers, that you see, those are foil balloons. Oh, okay. I should know that. Now I never next time. I'm jotting this down. But anyway, so she was the first big company that I reached out to. But she told me, you know what, come back in about a month and a half. So I was like, okay, well, I can't wait that long. I'm a very impatient person. So my next one was right across the street, Chewy over at Roll and Smoke. And I said, hey.
Shout out Chewy.
Yeah. So Chewy. So I went over to him and I said, hey, you know what? And you know where this was at the Leap Year Festival.
Okay.
Yeah. The one
back in February.
The end of February. So I told him, hey, introduce myself. I'm Priscilla. I'm starting, a balloon business, and I would love to donate a backdrop. I know you have this event coming up with the Whole Hog, and, he had been advertising. The school had been advertising. It was for Every Little Blessing Preschool, which is a school with kids with Down syndrome. So I told him, I approached him and I told him, I would love to work with you. I'll do a nice backdrop with your colors. It's good advertisement. We can work together, and I'll do some nice balloons. I'll have some cutouts for you, and I'll have a 7-foot board. So he goes, yeah, okay, sounds good. Let me talk to, the manager and everybody who's in charge. And if they approve it, then for sure, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. So he spoke to everyone. We got the go, and that was the first time I ever made my board. So my boards that I use for my backdrops, they're all plywood boards so now I use the birch ones because they're already ready to go. They're sanded. I just have to paint them. But when I first started, I was like, pues I'll get the plywood. I'll cut it out. I'll sand it down. I'll paint prime. I do it because I do it all. Yeah. So now I have marquee letters as well that I've added to my inventory, and I make my marquee letters. So, and my backstory on that.
And marquee letters are just like for the wording that you put on the.
Right. So the marquee letters are huge letters or numbers that light up with the foquitos, with the light bulbs.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
So have you guys
okay.
seen those?
Yeah.
And they vary in size, so they can go as small as like 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. But all of the numbers and letters that I currently have are all 4 feet tall, just because it looks awesome for quinceañeras, for like outdoor events. The bigger the better, you know.
Yeah, big flashy.
Yeah, huge with a lot of light bulbs. And then when I make my marquee letters, I space the bulbs like 3.5 to 4 inches apart, like max, because anything more is like too much of a gap, and I don't like that. So it does cost a little more to make because you have to buy an extra set of light bulbs, but just the look at night looks amazing. Like you can see the letter, you know what I mean? And so anyways, but going back to what I was saying, hey, you guys need to, when I deviate, you need to like reel me back in, guys.
You're pulling a Trump with the weave right now. You're weaving in and out of conversations. You gotta weave it back. Weave it back.
What was that meme? Kamala was partying with, or we're dancing with Beyonce.
Yeah.
But anyways, so just reel me back, guys.
Okay, so you're back to your first event at Rolling Smoke.
At Rolling Smoke.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, so I made my first board. I really saw. When I made my first board, that's when I realized how time consuming it really is, and how it's better to just pay a little more up front, even if the cost is a little higher, because at the end of the day and in the long run, it's going to save you time and headaches.
Yeah.
So for people that are starting their business, don't skimp out, don't cheap out, like just get the good quality stuff from the get-go, because that's going to play a huge role in like your time and even you wanting to do it, because the easier it is, the more you like it, the more you're like you just feel like you want to do it, and the longer it takes and the harder it is, you're like, shit, you start second guessing yourself, like what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
You know. But so anyway, so I made the board, I painted it, I got his cutouts, I put the logo of the preschool on there, and the day of, we went and we delivered it, and you know, Chuy was in Freya, he was busy, you know, he was getting all the food, prepping all the food, getting everything ready, so I didn't really get to talk to him much, but he did tell me afterwards, you know what, we loved it, it was a hit, everyone loved it, you could see it when the cars were driving by because it was so huge. The board was 7 feet plus the additional balloons on top. It was like, I want to say almost 10 feet tall. That's how high the boards are.
And when you're setting these up, how do you like stage it, because it's a lot, right? Like how, like,
so my boards, I have them to the point where like my tallest ones, the ones that are the 6 footer and the 7 footer, they fold in half. So I built them to where when you pop it open, you put stakes, like wooden stakes in the back to keep it straight, and then it has legs that prop open, and you weigh it down. I weigh them down with sandbags. So I use sandbags. I bought a weight set. Deja tu, I don't even use the weight set for me. I should, but I use them just to weigh it down. So I use the weights to do that, and then and that's how I prop them open. So each one has that. Now, as far as like attaching them together, no. Each board is its own board. Like the cylinders that I have, those are like round, they look like little mesitas, little tables. All that is separate. I don't attach those to the board or anything. Those are all movable. Okay. So anyways, so my boards, when I put them together, and then my garland, I always attach them. I start from the bottom and I work my way up. But what I do is they're like, you know, the balloons that like at parties that the clowns used to make, like the balloon animals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Those like skinny long ones.
Yeah.
Those are called 260s. Okay. So when I say
write this down.
so you guys know, okay?
260s. Oh, this one right here.
There you go. Hey, there you go.
I forget I had this on, dude.
Honestly, I did too. This whole time I've been talking to you.
It's like a part of me now.
So entonces, what I do is that I take a 260 and I tie it together, because these are like huge, like very stretchy rubber bands, right? And then I just staple it to my wooden board. And then, well, the boards are mine. They're my inventory. There are other artists that, you know, unfortunately, they don't have the space. They don't have the storage. So they have to rent them out each time that they quote them out, you know? And that also plays a big part in your pricing. And when you're giving out quotes, how much you're going to charge. So anyway, but because they're mine, I can put clavos through them. I can drill holes through them if I want. I can do whatever. And then I can just seal it up with, you know, later on. But anyway, so I staple them on there, and then my garland, what I do is I take my balloons, and there's different sizes. So I know that there's going to be balloon artists that see this, and they're going to know what I'm talking about. But so you guys know, with these quality balloons, you want to use different sizes to give your garlands dimension, to just make it look like, wow, like, and to make it look full. Like, you want your garlands to look nice and full. So every color that I use, which we'll get into my pricing in a bit, but every color that I use varies anywhere from like $25 to $35 per color every time I use. I give out a quote for a backdrop, because I use 12-inch balloons, which are like the ones in the bottom over there. They're just sized down. They're deflated down to a 6-inch. Yeah. And then I use the 5-inch balloons, which are the smaller ones at the top, right below the 260. Yeah. So I get a bag of those. So I have a bag of 5-inch, I have a bag of 12-inch, and then I have a bag of either 17 or 18-inch balloons. So for each one, guys, you have to keep in mind, like, the 12-inch balloons, on average, the bags are like anywhere from $11.99 to $12.99. And then the mirror colors, like the gold and the silver that I brought out, the reason I chose those colors is to show you guys that those, because of the shine to them and because they look metallic, they're way more expensive than just the regular latex. So whenever someone fills out my inquiry form and they want like rose gold, silver, like for quinceañeras or for a wedding, I have to increase the price because each bag of balloons is more expensive. So like if you go on the website right now, and I get my balloons, I order some of them online, but when I'm like in a rush or when I really need balloons, there is a really awesome local store in downtown off of Oregon Street called Zicali. And so shout out to Zicali and Raul. But and Lupita, because they know me. I go, like, from the moment I went in, I just started talking to them like I knew them my whole life, and then now they're like, "Ahí viene esta señorita." So but anyways, so like if you go on and you see their colors, like for an 18-inch bag that only has 25 balloons, it's $21.99 just for that one, and it's only 25. And so for the 12-inch, if they come in packs of 50. Those mirror colors are only 50, and that bag is like $17. So and that's one color. So if my quote consists of 4 colors, like, do the math. Like,
and then how many balloons per board do you use on average?
So I don't like to. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like to count the balloons because I'm the type of person that I'm not gonna skimp out. I charge the bags. So every color that you use, I'm gonna include it on the quote as, if it's a basic color, $25. If it's the mirror colors, $35. Like, you're gonna pay me per bag, because it doesn't matter if I only use 5 balloons or if I use the entire bag, all 50 balloons. I have to buy the bag, you know. And these companies, like right now, I still haven't established myself to where I'm like where I buy in bulk. You know, so I just get the bags that are just the 100 count, the 50 count, or the 25 count, and that's it. I don't purchase them in bulk, because then I just have them sitting there. So that's why I charge per bag. I don't charge per balloon. And the reason I also do that is because I like the balloons to look nice and full. I don't like them to look like all like, you know, because se ve como triste, you know? Yeah. And so the fuller, for me, the more balloons I use and the fuller it looks, the nicer it, like, wow, like you get that wow effect. Your like the guests at my clients' parties, they can see those backdrops from the moment they're parking because of how tall and how full and how big they are. Now on my Instagram page, when you go and you see the pictures, which I need to start putting the side view, but like you only see the front view. But there's a lot of balloons that I use. And when I think for this last baby shower I had, it was the We Can Barely Wait theme. There was a video where I'm taking a video of the floating bears, and then I go down and you can see the amount of balloons on this, like the side. You can see the side view. But I use a lot of balloons.
That one was really cool because you had the balloons like hanging up on the ceiling and stuff.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
yes.
I saw that.
So my client, Miss Lou, she reached out to me months ago. And so I actually have, God has been good to me, and I've been very blessed because I've had people reach out to me and book me since like back in May and June when I had nothing on my Instagram. Like I had just a few back. So like they literally put their faith and trust in me. And I think that's why I go all out with my projects, because I always think back to that. Like, the Monsters Inc. Party that I had.
That was really cute too.
That one has been my biggest project to date. And my client, she was like amazing. I don't want to go too much into it because I'm gonna cry, but it was so it was her. She's a first time mom. It was her first baby, and baby showers and little kid parties are my favorite because, especially first time parents, because just that joy and that excitement, like it takes me back to when I was pregnant with Sophia. And because I always said, like, when I have another baby, I'm going to be able to go through that. But, unfortunately, things happened, and I'm no longer able to have kids. So I'm happy that I went all out for Sophia when I did. Like, when I had her parties, I remember I would rent the mascots. Like, for her 3rd birthday, we had the Poppy mascot and the Branch, and they went and they danced at her party. And the way she just looked at them, and like she even got on the mic and was thanking the guests and like my puppy, like she was just so excited. So I want to give that to my clients and my guests so that they feel like that excitement and that joy that I felt, because you never know if you're gonna get that again. And especially the kids, you guys, like I don't know if you guys are parents. I'm sorry, I didn't do my research. But
Only Sal.
Me
and Relly are working on it.
How old are your kids?
Mine are old.
They're old?
Yeah.
Man, you look good though. You don't look like you.
He's only 35.
12, 16, and 15.
They're little. They're still little.
They're not. Yeah, well, they're not 20, but they're not little anymore.
No, well, you look good. I wouldn't have guessed because you look around our age. I'm about to be 33, but anyway,
our age.
Yeah, but I would recommend just having at least one. Oh, like you guys need to have your one kid. So
we're gonna adopt Relly if we can't.
Why are you laughing?
Maybe.
But anyways, so going back to what I was saying, so with Sophia's, so when I did the backdrop for the Monsters Inc., the reason I fell in love with that backdrop, and that's been my biggest one today, and I went all out, was because just when she reached out to me, she booked me, you guys, back in May, like the beginning of May, and her party wasn't until like, I think it was like September, October. I can't even remember, but thankfully I've been busy and booked every weekend. But it was months, and I didn't have any content, and then she booked me, like, she's like, I want the boards, I want the candy bags, I would like a fruit card, I would like she was just so excited, and I told her, so when I went through, her inquiry form, and I saw the costs, so I used like a cost plus analysis where I calculate the cost of each project, and then I include like the premium that I want to make on top, like that percentage.
And you do all this yourself?
Yes.
Yeah,
and my husband helps me too. Okay. Like he'll help me a lot with like that. We're both accountants, so I don't know if I didn't mention that earlier, but we both have our accounting degrees. And he helps me with that. Now he helps me with all like the analytical stuff, but all the like hands-on, like making the boards, painting, like setting all the creative work, I do. Okay. But I will say this: when we go to the events, he's helping me move the heavy boards. He's helping me and he already knows our balloon lingo. So when I tell him, give me a 260 round, he knows what I want. Go ahead and give me the quad, or give me the 8
a utility belt with all the balloons. Blows it up real quick.
No, de volada, no, se pone en frega. And we're now, thankfully, we have a system that works for us, and we're getting there. And he helps me a lot, him and Sophie. Even Sophia now, well, she's the one that helped me make the chains for you guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, she knows how to twist them and do all that. And
you do this full time now?
Yes. Yeah. So I do this full time. Wow. I kind of had to, because I'm booked. I've been booked every weekend, thank God, for the last 2 months. And I'm booked for all the month of November already as well. I actually have...
How soon in advance are you, like, people start booking you?
So...
Or do you prefer getting booked?
I have a client that already booked me for the first week of January of 2025. Wow. So I tell everyone, the sooner you can contact me, the better. And all I require is a 50% retainer. That's going to get you booked and added to my schedule, because that's going to, and this is a non-refundable deposit, you guys, because once I order your material, I can't return it. They will not let me send it back. Mm-hmm. So the first 50% is non-refundable. That's your retainer. But I always tell everybody, give me at least 2 weeks notice. Sometimes I'll even tell them, like we're pushing it with 1 week, but I can't do anything less than a week, because if the local store we have here is out of stock or they don't have the color I need, I have to order online from some of the warehouses out in New York, California.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, with the shipping, with the hurricane that just happened, like everything gets delayed. And even if I do like an express or overnight shipping, like if I do that, the shipping cost alone is like $40-50. So I'm like, that's, you know, like that's money coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
The way I see it. So I tell everybody, the more time you can give me in advance, the better, because I can for sure make sure that all your material gets in time. If there's, you know, it's life. If something happens or I'm not able to get it, or, you know, I lose a package or it doesn't get delivered, because believe it or not, that happens a lot in my area. I don't know why. There's like and then well, anyway, so, oh God, I said that out. Please, nobody going. Nobody go to my house.
I'll cut it out.
Thank you. But anyway, so we have like, and we're like next door to each other. So they always either confuse my packages or they don't drop them off, you know? So I'm like, shoot, like what if that happens and I have an event like in 2 days? I'm not going to have enough time to go and, you know, order some more, and I'm not going to, no le voy a quedar mal a un client, you know? Yeah. So that's why I tell everybody, you need to let me know at least minimum 2 weeks in advance. Anything prior to that, like I'm, you know, anything after that, I'm sorry, but I can't.
Have you had any situations where you somehow like you have to cancel, or maybe somebody cancels on you?
You know, as of right now, thank God I haven't had any cancellations. What has happened to me, and I feel so bad because it's the only time it's ever happened to me, is that, and it was when I started getting a rush of inquiries and people were sending me their deposits left and right. So I was like, holy moly, what's going on right now? I have to like get them booked. I have to add into my schedule. Well, I had one client message me and she wanted a quote for a Little Mermaid theme. It was really nice. Like, it was really nice. It had everything. It had cutouts. It had the cylinders. It had the boards. It had the shimmer wall. It had everything. So that was going to be a big project, right? Well, where I was so busy booking everything and I hadn't written anything down, I confused her date. I flopped it with somebody else's. So I was like, okay, I can get to her quote, you know, in the next 2-3 days. And then 2-3 days turned to 4 or 5. And then I completely forgot, thinking like, oh, well, I have plenty of time. I can get back to her. You know, at least I already reached out to her and told her that I'm working on it. Pues ándale que when I went, she messaged me like 2 days prior and she's all like, you know, I apologize. I already have someone, but thank you anyway. Oh my God, you guys, I felt so bad. I was like, girl, I'm so sorry. I messed up your day. I apologize. You know, I'm glad you're able to find someone. I am so sorry. And I felt really bad for that. That's the only thing that has happened to me to date where I confused the date and then I got back to her way too late. And I was like, if something happens, you know, or you need me, like I got you. But I felt so bad because I left her hanging. I never gave her the quote. I did it. And then, well, you have to remember, balloons are a luxury. You don't need them for a party, especially like these big backdrops. Like, if people are willing to throw down anywhere from like $400 to $800 for a backdrop, like, you need to confirm and they need to have that ready, because these like other balloon artists like myself, they're already booked, or they're like me, they have a 2-week notice, a policy notice, where you need to let them know at least 2 weeks in advance. So if I do this to a client where she messages me and her party's that weekend and it's already Tuesday, the chances of her finding another artist are like slim to none, because they're already booked, or they might find one, but just that person won't be able to provide the quality of work that they were looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many events can you do in a day or a weekend?
So, you know what? That's a good question. I like to book 2 events per day, and I only do events Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I don't work during the week because I still work full time. So it's really hard with my work schedule. And then, well, I have Sophia and I have Andy. So it's hard for me to take on any more work. And as a matter of fact, what's been going on right now is that I've been getting a lot of orders for the balloon bouquets, which is great because they're easier to make. They're on the go. Like, my clients can come pick them up, or if, you know, they want them delivered, we can arrange that. But what's happening is that, you know, it still takes time to make these balloon bouquets, to make the backdrops. It's very time consuming. The detail that goes into it, like, people underestimate that a lot. I should have a class so you guys can see.
You should.
I should host a class so you guys can go and see, because I think I don't want people to think like, how hard can it be? Because that's how I was. When I first started, I was like, it's simple, but no, it's really it's very time
and it's
consuming.
a different language too, right? Like you're talking bouquets, and I'm like, well, like what would that look like? And I'm trying to imagine in my head. So I'm thinking, like, what would you call something like?
So like that would be like a small balloon bouquet, a very small one.
That's kind of what I pictured.
So you're right, and that's probably one of the smallest bouquets I've done, and it was just something small that I worked up for you guys, just for
How long did it take you to make all three of them?
So to make all three of those, it took me like about an hour and 15 minutes. And what the hardest part was putting the bottles in the latex up, because I still don't have, like, there are balloon stretchers, and they have these cool little pinzas that you use. But you guys remember, I just started doing bouquets. I haven't done any of the Bobo balloon ones yet. So I need to buy that little tool. I need to buy those pinzas. Pero since I don't have them right now, pues ahí estaba. I was over there trying to stretch them. I was like... So that's what took the longest. But in reality, I think those three would have taken me, like, I want to say maybe 30-40 minutes for the three of them, because it's so small, and pues de volada I made the chain because I already know how to do it. It's easy, But the bigger ones, those take a little longer because I add details to them. So I'll add little rhinestones, or I'll make like the balloon flowers, or and I tailor my bouquets to your theme. So if they want Hello Kitty, if they want a beach theme, pues then I have to figure out a way to make a palma. I have to figure out a way to add a bow, or make this, make that. You know what I mean? So they're very time consuming, and a lot of people don't understand that. So going back to your question, I only book two events per day max, because I know that if I try to book more, it's just too much work for my family and I, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that help me. I get a lot of help from my daughter, a lot of help from my husband, Andy, and a lot of help from my mom now that she moved back from Tennessee. And like my husband, I know we talked about it earlier, but we weren't online yet. But like Andy, right now he works full time. He's going to school full time, and thank God he's about to graduate this December with his master's degree. So he has that stress of the master's program. He has the stress of work, and this is a new job that he just got 8 weeks ago. Like, he was still in his training period up till last week. But it was a great opportunity, so of course that's why we decided to take it. But anyway, so with his new job, with his master's program, with Sophia and I, because we're both little bipolars, and we're like, it's crazy. And Sophia and I butt heads a lot because we're very similar, we're very much alike. So siempre estamos agarradas del chongo. Pero anyways, so he has to deal with all that, and then he has to deal with our attitudes, and then one day I'm Priscilla, and then like in 15 minutes I'm Patricia over here getting all mad, and so my poor husband. So anyways, but the reason I do 2 events per day is because he's gone half the day Saturday. So he has class from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And he won't get home till he drives from UTEP. So he doesn't get home till about 12:30, 12:45 sometimes. And it's at that point that he's able to tell me. But by that time, I'm already loading everything up. Like, I already have all my clusters ready. I have the boards painted. I have everything ready so that we can just load up. He just takes a quick shower, changes, and we're on our way to the event. So I only do 2 events right now because that's all I can currently handle at the moment, knowing that I'm going to be able to deliver quality work and what my clients are expecting.
And how long what's the lifespan on those balloons? Like, I know you talked about like oxidization or something like that.
So so if they're indoor balloons, like in an office, in a room temperature, there's no sunlight, those balloons will last you forever. As a matter of fact, today I just put an Instagram post about that for a client that I did a backdrop for her over in El Paso, and the balloon was inside the building. I set it up October 1st, but I had blown up the balloons 2 days prior to her event, and I picked up the board on October the 23rd. So for 25 days, those balloons were up. Not one had popped, and it looked like how I set it up the first day on day 1.
Yeah, I saw your post today. Yeah.
It was crazy. I'm like, wow. Now, outside, you guys, that's where clients and people need to understand that there's weather, there's inclined temperatures, there's weather factors that go into it. Once it starts getting colder and more windy, I do have in my policy, if you go onto my Instagram, one of them is if winds are more than 13 miles an hour, I'm not going to set up. Because you have to keep in mind that even with weights, even with everything, if a wind, or like even if you're taking a picture and sometimes the winds are too much, and if you lean back, y si se cae el board and it hits someone or it hits a little kid, like that's a liability that I would assume, you know, and I'm not going to do that. So I don't do that. But outdoor events, what the trick to the balloons is to deflate them. Like if I'm going to use a 12-inch balloon, I deflate it down to like about 6-7 inches so that it can expand. So with the heat, it'll expand and it'll still last without popping. However, you guys need to understand that it's still climate. Like it's still hot, like especially when it's like 110-degree weather outside.
I was going to say El Paso, it gets really, really hot.
And then we have that dry heat, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much I underinflate, like a balloon's going to pop in outdoor weather. And that's something that the clients need to know, and they need to be aware of. Like if you're going to put balloons under direct sunlight in the middle of July, they're going to pop. So that's a risk that you guys are assuming when you hire me. I mean, I'm going to do the work. I'll provide the work, but then you can't come to me complaining and saying, hey, well, why did the balloons pop? This is why it's in my policy and in the form when you fill it out and when you see it on my Instagram page. So what I do is that I recommend to my clients, I tell them, do a shaded area. Put it under a porch, put it under a tree. I got shade, like, you know. And this is actually something that I was talking to Andy about. I said, how cool would it be if we could provide like a tent? Yeah, like a tent or a canopy or something that we could set up. You know, it's still in the works. We'll see, because of course, that would take more time. It's another cost. So it's something that we have to really discuss. But I was like, man, how cool would it be if I could do that for my clients? Like, even if, like, because unfortunately some people don't have porches or something that they can't, you know what I mean? Or if they have it at a venue.
Like a park or something.
Exactly. If you have it at a park or at a venue that doesn't have that, but how are they supposed to get shaded area, you know? So I always recommend the shaded areas. And if you want to do direct sunlight, that's a risk that you are taking on. So that's something that the clients need to also understand. But I don't prefer it. Like I always have everybody get shaded area or indoor events. That's going to be your best bet always.
Did you do all that research prior to like officially starting your business, or like just as you go along?
No, so I did before, but there's nothing like hands-on experience. So after I did the backdrop for Roll and Smoke, he hired me a few months. I can't even remember. I have to go back and look at the timeline. But he hired me for a wedding that he hosted at his place. And when I went and I set it up, I did an arch because he had the band, the Chile Rellenos. So I did the arch, and I did the cool little, I did the cool little chiles with like the 5-inch balloons, and I had chains around it, and I had the wedding one. And I was telling him, oh yeah, these balloons should last you up to like 2 weeks, man. And telling him all that, right? Yeah, ándale, que the next day he's like, oh, well then just leave them there, because, you know, we're going to be open tomorrow. People are going to be coming in. Leave your sign. That way, you know, it's free advertising. Just leave it there. So I was like, okay. Pues ándale que I drove by because I wanted to see. I was curious, you know, because I had never really worked with balloons. I was still starting off. So I passed by. Y ándale que voy viendo que they're all popping and it's looking all
they
ratchet.
Went from chile relleno to chile pasado.
Sí, right? I was like, Canijo, what's going on here? So I was like, I remember I called up my sister and I told her, I was like, I need to go take that off now because that looks gross. Like that does not look good. And so I told him, you know what? I'm sorry, it will last 2 weeks, but indoor. So anyway, so that was pretty cool. Like, but he's really cool, very sweet, and he understood. And then so that's how I learned. I had to like hands-on, because it doesn't matter the quality of or the brand of the balloon, you guys. It's 110-degree weather. It's hot as hell. Like, come on, it's gonna pop. So I've learned through research, but of course there's nothing like hands-on experience.
And what about like the creativity aspect? Is that something that you always had growing up, or like were you always creative, or is it something that you just discovered out of nowhere?
You know what? It's funny that you asked that, because yes, I have always been very creative. And not to like toot my own horn or, you know, andar de presumida or anything, but I have always been very creative. I was always, growing up, I was a straight A student. I graduated top 10% of my class. I played varsity ball from 8th grade to senior year because I my mom was a single mom growing up, and I was raised by my grandparents. And my grandpa, he had rental properties. So, and he only had 2 daughters. Well, his oldest daughter had us 3 girls, and then my tia had only 1 son. So there's only 1 man in that entire family full of females, okay? Wow. So growing up, my grandpa, like, I never wanted to let him down. I always wanted to make him proud. Oh my God, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but it's because I love him. He's been gone for like what 16, 17 years now, and I still, it hurts like it was yesterday, but he taught me everything that I know. He taught me about how to work. He taught me about how to put vigas up. He taught me how to throw cemento. He taught me, well, when I was in high school, I remember like junior and senior year, I was squatting like 275, benching like 205.
That's more than me.
I swear, ask the guy. You can ask a lot of the guys that I went to high school with. A lot of the football players, they know that. They knew me as like the strong girl. But because what people didn't know was that every break, every fall, every winter break, every summer break, I was there moving 100-pound sacks of cemento from one end to the other, shoveling them into the trompo while my cousin was over there. He was the one laying out the cement while I was the one mixing it, because my grandpa didn't trust him porque lo hacía muy aguado. Le echaba de más agua. Yeah. So he's like, no, you sabe que bueno, usted váyase para allá y que JJ se vaya para allá, que Junior se vaya para allá. So I was like, okay. So anyway, so I've always been creative in that sense because I wanted to make everyone proud, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I came from a very good home, thank God. I had a great mom. I had great grandparents. I love them to death. Oh my God, I'm not gonna cry. But anyways, and that creative aspect was always there because I always wanted to find a way to be better. That just, bottom line, that's what it was. And even with my art, I can freestyle. Like I can see something and then draw it. And I'll look at it and I'll see it. And Sophia gets that from me. She can do that. She'll see something and then she'll draw it out, and she likes that. She's artistic like that. And she's actually the one that told me she'll give me ideas like, you should do this, you should do that, or like, porque también estoy ciega. So I have astigmatism in my right eye. And when I was born, it runs in my family. But if you, like when I smile, my right eye smiles, my left eye. But I was born like that.
You probably shouldn't have called it out because then people are going to be watching.
They're all going to pause to look at the little eye. Oh yeah, and then it's funny because when we take pictures, my sisters will be like, open your eye, open your eye. And I'm like, shut up, stupid. I'm over there. 1, 2, 3, go. So anyways, pero stop. So entonces, sometimes I'm like looking at the colors and I'm like going like this, and Sophia will be like, no, Mom, it's this one. Like for the Monsters Inc. one, to get the blue for Sully, she was like, no, get this one, Mom. This is going to be the one. And I'm like, okay. So I get it, and sure enough, it came out. It was like almost spot on. Like the colors were really nice to what my client wanted. But anyway, as far as being creative, I do research. I do a lot of, like I study a lot what other clients are doing, what people in the area are doing, their packaging, like what they include, if they add florals, if they add chain designs, if they, like how they do it. Because, what's that one saying? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah. And it's true. And something also that I never understood is that there are some artists out there that when they get an inquiry form or they have a client and they tell me, you know what, I want my backdrop to be like how you did the last one. And then they'll be like, oh no, well, I'm sorry, I can't because I'm an artist, I need to change that. But the way I see it is like, well, I mean, yeah, I created the backdrop for this previous client, right? And if another one later on comes out and says, you know what, I want that Monsters Inc. one just the way you did it for her. Dude, she's paying me. And especially if she's paying me over $1,000, I'm not going to tell her no. You can't have that. I'm going to be like, you can have whatever you want, baby girl. I'll add all the colors you want, girl. No, but that I never understood that. It's like, at the end of the day, the client is right. It's what they want. It's their party, and they're the ones making that expense and paying you to do it. They're hiring you to do it. So I'm gonna provide what you want. And if I did another one and you fell in love with it and you want it exactly like that, well, all right then. The only thing that's gonna happen is that the other girl's gonna be like, well, I had it first. Yeah. But it's the same thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but that's, if they want it, because they're paying for it.
Not only that, but doesn't that make it easier for you because you already know, you don't have to come up with it. Yep. I'm assuming that whenever they ask you for a theme or something, that's part of the challenge because you have to like figure it out, right?
Yep, exactly. So as a matter of fact, and the reason I use that as an example is because that did happen to me, and I do have another Monsters Inc. Party coming up. So stay tuned. But for that one, I'm gonna change the board. I'm gonna want like I'm gonna want to add horns in the sole. You'll see. You guys will see.
All right.
So it'll be a little different, but no, it'll still be the same boards. It'll be the candy bags and all that.
Oh yeah. So we were talking about like the creative process, right? And
oh yes.
And the ideas and all that. What's been the most challenging event that you've had to do so far?
Because in one way or another, they're all a little challenging. I try to switch it up here and there, like even with the shape of my garlands, how I add clusters to it. Like I try, I don't want them all to be exactly the same. So they're all a little challenging. But as far as which one has been the most challenging, I would have to say it was actually I haven't even posted it on my Instagram page yet. It was the gender reveal box that I did. Mm-hmm. And the reason that one was challenging was because I haven't worked with helium before. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was that I bought the Balloon Time little like tanks that they sell at Party City and Walmart. Yeah. But those are just like, once you run out, that's it. Like that's all the helium that's available. So I made the box, which is, I do woodwork, so that was fine. The frame and all that was fine. But what happened was that I inflated the balloons and they didn't open up the box until like 6 hours later. So those helium balloons had been in there. But the thing is that because that's another thing, like when it comes to the creative process, I always tell people, and I tell my clients, send me your inspo pics. I want to see what like you're thinking, the colors you're going for, or better yet, send me your invitation. If you have an invitation to the party, let me see it so I know what colors and what like images you're using, because chances are that I can get them off of Etsy or Canva and I can use that exact same image, blow it up and use it as a cutout. But anyways, so for me, that helium box was the hardest one, because the inspo pic she sent was one where when the couple opened the box, boom, all these balloons just took off flying into the air. Well, I needed to have done my research and said, you know what? Well, you need to, open the box like maximum 2 hours after they've been placed in there. But because I didn't know, and they waited, hours to do it. But when the little couple opened up the box, like they were barely like waiting to come out. So for me, that was very challenging and that was very hard to see, because dang, like I wanted that wow factor that she wanted. You know what I mean? But now I know, like, no, they need to be inflamed with more helium. But the thing was, because it said on the box, like if I were to have done that, it would have only been like 10 balloons. And if you count, like when they're coming out, if you count them, there was like about 20, 25. But what I needed to do was also add more helium. So for me, that box is like, that's been the challenging one. That's been the one that hurts, because I didn't get the outcome that I wanted. And however, my client loved it. Like she told me, she tagged me, she said, thank you so much. We loved it. Everything came out great. But that little the competitor in me was like, nah, bro, like I wanted it to be the way you wanted, so for me that would have to be the most challenging one so far. And the thing is it wasn't even a backdrop, it was a damn box with helium balloons.
Well, it was just like a new element that you weren't used to.
And my mom, that's what my mom tells me also, like, don't take on too much work or don't take on stuff that you don't know or you're unsure of. Like practice it first, and then once you've like mastered it, or once you're confident in yourself, then do it and then go for it, So I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right, Mom. But so far, that one has been the most challenging for me.
And as far as like blowing up all the balloons, do you do them just like by mouth, or you got a little pump, or what do you
no manches, if I do it by mouth, me desmayo.
Your cheeks are all sore and stuff.
No. We have air pumps that I buy. So I have 2 air pumps, and I have a pump that's specifically designed for 260s. And that's the one that does the chains for me. And then I have the 2. So when we blow up the balloons, it's always Sophia and I doing them at the same time. Like she'll be working on one color and then I'll be doing another color. And she already knows like the sizing and how I like to do my clusters. So she knows like 4 12-inch, and then the next one's going to be 3 12-inch with a 17-inch. One's going to be inflated a little less than the other. So I'm telling you, it's a lot that goes into it. It's not as easy as...
You got like a whole formula for it?
Yeah, no, we really do. And Sophia knows our balloon lingo now. So it's nice, because that also saves up a lot of time for us. Now, the cool thing about that is that, and another reason why I started this business, I should have mentioned this earlier, but the reason I also got into this and I started making Sophia help me was because growing up, we always played sports, but because we loved it, we wanted to play sports. So I always did softball, I did soccer, I did basketball, Young Guns, I did it all. And so did my sisters. Mm-hmm. Plus, like I was mentioning earlier, I played softball in high school. Amber was varsity volleyball, and Diamond was varsity cheerleader. She was even the captain of the cheerleading team at one point. But we've always loved and had a passion for our sports. My daughter, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have that passion yet. Like, she hasn't found what she's truly passionate about. And I always said I'm not going to be those parents that force it on them, because growing up, I saw that with some of my friends that mm-hmm. you could tell they didn't love it, but their parents would force them to, and they were just miserable. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that to my kid. If she's going to be good at something, it needs to come out of her. She needs to be devoted, and she needs to want to do it. As of right now, we haven't found that yet. But she does like to
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes it takes a while. Yeah. I can tell you, because for me, I feel like I barely found my passion within the last year, and I'm 30. 31. Awesome. I'm going to be 32. So sometimes it takes a while, but I think you're taking the right approach of not forcing anything on her. I would say that I think, and I'm not a parent, but I've thought about this, like about if I ever have kids, what I want to do with my kids is I want to just tell them, try everything, mm-hmm. because you don't know. You never know what you're going to like. Yeah. So just have them try everything.
And you know what?
Except drugs. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Or maybe, just a little bit.
You won't hurt. That's how you know if you're like it or not. Yeah. No te creas. Pero so yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And so far we've tried cheerleading, we've tried dance, we've tried basketball, we've tried softball. She's really wanting to try volleyball right now. So, and it came out of her to say, like, I want to try volleyball. And I said, okay, well, we'll try it. So I'm thinking, I know that I've heard people have mentioned that the YMCA has a team. So that's something that I'm going to, inquire about and see. Maybe she'll like that, hopefully. But I will say this. Sophia is a natural little salesperson and a promoter. Mm-hmm. Like, she has it in her. And my daughter's passion right now, it's not sports, it's making money. And that's crazy, because when you hear her talk, you think like, esta niña no le dan dinero, o esta, like, she's deprived. When that little girl has everything, we give her everything.
She's a little hustler.
And girl. Sorry. Girl.
Oh, girl.
Let me tell you. I'm sorry. No, let me tell you. She has, like, for her birthday, we had her birthday at Wet n Wild this last year, and she got backpacks of Chromie. I bought her one from Spencer's. My tia got her. She has all these purses and wallets. And you know what she carries around? A little envelope that she made, that she colored, and she puts her money in there. And I'm like, Sofia, no manches, people are going to think that's trash and go throw it away. And you have all your money in there. And because I do pay my daughter. So that's one of the lessons that her dad and I are teaching her, is that nothing in this life is free. And if you're going to work, you need to be compensated for what you work, but you also need to be good at what you do, and you need to know, like right now at an early age, is that no one's ever going to give you anything. One day, your dad and I are going to be here, and you need to learn how to fend for yourself and be able to take care of yourself and not depend on other people. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because, you know how I mentioned earlier that my grandparents only had my mom and my aunt?
Yeah.
Well, my grandpa spoiled the heck out of them. Like, they were spoiled girls. So they always had the cars given to them, the money, the houses, everything. Everything was just giving to them. I'm not saying they didn't work. Like, yes, they worked. But my grandfather gave them everything. So the day que nos hizo falta, like, it was hard for them to adjust. Mm-hmm. It was hard. And not because they were lazy, it's just that they didn't know how. And even now I see that, and I'm like, I don't want that for Sophia. I love my mom and I love my tia, but I don't want Sophia to struggle or to, like, depend on Andy and I, because no vamos a ser eternos, and one day we're not going to be here. So she needs to learn. And then it's just her. She doesn't have other siblings. So she needs to learn to, like, be able to take care of herself. And that's what I'm trying to teach my kid. And the thing is that when we started doing this, I told her, you're going to help me, and you don't want to do sports, that's fine, but you're going to help me, and I'm going to pay you $10 an hour. So take as long or as little, as much time as you work, that's what you're going to get compensated for, right? Mm-hmm. And so now she'll help me, but she'll be like, all right, I can help you, but I'm only going to help you for an hour. And they'll be like, okay. And then she's like, but when I go with you to install, that's 2 hours right there. So you're paying me for 3. Like, she's smart. And then I'm like, all right, cool, fine. I'll do the bulk of the hard work. And then you go help me set up, because she knows that at setups, like, we only have a certain time frame. Like, some venues only give you an hour. So we got to be quick. But overall, she knows that. And then what she's been into lately too is that, have you guys heard of those blind bags? Bags on TikTok? Mm-hmm. Like, well, anyways, they're these little like surprise bags. I don't know. It's weird. And what she does is she makes them. She's very crafty. Like I said, she's very creative. So she'll color them, she'll make them. And then she goes and she sells them for like $2, $3, $1.
That's cool.
So like at school and in my neighborhood. So watch, the other day we were at the house. That's what I'm saying. My daughter might not be, she hasn't found her sport yet, but she for sure knows that she likes making money, and she will hustle and make her own money. She made these blind bags. Dude, tell me why. One day she came back and she had $16. And I'm like, where did you get that money from? And she's like, well, I sold my blind bags.
Gum in there?
I'm like, how? I don't have gum. She went to our neighbors and was selling them to our neighbors and was like, oh, this is $2 and da-da-da. I'm like, okay.
Sorry, I just drank. I think it was...
Get this, Bill?
No, Raleigh handed me this and Sal threw his gum in there. Dude.
Oh my God.
It's all trashed. Sorry. I was kind of gross. I take a sip and I'm like, these cheladas come with the chicle now. A bonus gum. Wow. Wow. I gotta go throw up now.
How did it end up over there?
Raleigh gave it to me,
dude, because you left it. I don't know. I thought Johnny left it over here, so I was like, what the fuck?
I could have sworn you had it drinking in your hand the whole time.
I did, but I was like, wait, I wasn't chewing gum.
Did you have it in your mouth?
Dude, I got like the tip of it, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, that's gross.
Sally, did you do that on purpose? Don't lie.
You see my reaction, dude. It's gonna. I was like, what the fuck? Oh man. Anyway, so back to your daughter. So she's a hustler, making blind bags, selling them as cool.
No, and helping me with the balloons.
And helping
she gets
you.
a lot of her money from the
Nice.
balloons. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just from hearing you talk, it sounds like you very much yourself you have that mentality, like do it yourself. Because even like doing the boards, and you were talking about how, putting cement with your grandpa, like that is commendable. That's a very commendable thing to do.
Thank you. Yes, I was taught at a very young age that, you're gonna work hard, you're gonna earn what you have, and you're gonna love it. And I do. When you work hard for something and you're literally your sweat, your blood, your tears go into it, and you earned it, you appreciate it and you value it more, and you take care of it. When I was little, that the girls and I would fight over a curling iron or whatever, and we get all mad and then we start fighting, because I'm not gonna lie, we're not perfect. We would fist fight. We would be all fighting, and then I remember one time, but it was an accident. I don't know how it was that I shoved Amber, and then the cómoda hit the wall and it made a hole in the drywall. And then my mom was like, cabronas. I was like, miren lo que hicieron. Y como no es suyo y no saben. And I didn't know that, right? So now that I'm older, I'm like, holy shit, my mom was right. And I written out. So when I'm walking with the madre in the house, I'm like, I'm making sure that the 2x4s aren't going to hit anything, that my garage is okay. Porque to fix it, pues it's una frega,
Yeah.
Pero yeah, now I know what my mom meant back then. Even when we would get mad that we'd slam the door, she's like, no anden porteando las puertas. But now I know, like, I'm not going to do that door with like $300. I'm not going to go and break it. You know what I mean? Because to replace it, hombre, it's expensive. So I was taught at a very young age that I'm gonna work hard, and my grandpa always wanted also, I think he also saw my mom and my tia, and I think he, with us, the grandkids, he was trying to change that. Like, no, you need to work for your money, you need to learn that. And I think he also saw, like, I'm almost at my end, and you guys, I'm not going to be here for you guys, so you guys need to learn how to take care of yourselves. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I've always had that drilled in the back of my mind. And it's also like, it's cost efficient. Like, I don't have to pay someone to go and do the labor. You know, I buy the material, I do it myself. And if I want to put tile, if I want to paint the wall, if I want to do whatever, that's money that I'm saving because I don't have to pay someone to do it. Yeah. So I have more money to go shopping or to go buy extensions. So yeah, so that's how I was raised, and that's how I see it, and that's how I want Sophia to be as well. And then so that the day of tomorrow, if she wants something, she can get it. She doesn't have to be depending on a man, on nobody. If she wants to buy it, she can buy it. If she wants to get it, she can get it. No que ahí le andan diciendo que, oh, no, you can't buy that, you can't wear that, you can't wear that. The fuck? Yeah, you can. Yeah. You're going to earn it, and you can do whatever the hell you want, you know? So that's just how I am, and that's how I see it.
Now, you're going back to your business, and how did you come up with the name Pristine Moments? And you're pretty active on social media as well. Yes. Has that been like a big part of growing your business, the social media aspect?
Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, it has. Because when, like, I know that I know that there's algorithms and, you know, stuff that go into play, but honestly what it is the more active I am, the more my clients, even when they refer me, those friends or those family members, they see my Instagram and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, what can she do now? What can she do now? What is she? And they've told me like, oh my God, I saw your work. Since I've been following you for 3 months now, and they're getting so much better. They're getting bigger. And, you know, that's helped me grow a lot as well. But I think honestly, what it also is that, I'm very prideful in my work, and I post it not to show off, but just to like show my clients like I can do it. You throw me an idea, you want a shelf wall, I'll make it for you. If you want an arch, that's gonna be my next one, like a bigger arch, I was like, I'll make that arch for you. Like I always tell my clients, I like to be challenged. So if you find an inspo pic on Instagram and tell me, look, Priscilla, this is what I want, make it happen. I'll be like, all right, bet. But the thing is that I'm very open with my clients. So if at any point I do have any concerns or there's confusions, or like even with the colors, like if I'm doubting myself, I'll send them pictures and be like, okay, is this what you want? I just want to verify, and I just want to make sure we're clear. And they'll be like, yeah, that's perfect. Or no, let's make it a little darker. I want a darker green instead of the sage, or, you know? So my social media has definitely played a big role in my clients being able to see what I can do and like the possibilities of what I'm able to create. The name now, so I'm not gonna lie. So you know how the Kardashians had Dash and it had their name in it? I was like, I want a name that has my name in it. Yeah. And growing up, when I would play softball, people would call me Pris. So I was like, I want something that has my name in it, Pris. And I was looking at options. I was seeing the different, you know, words that I could use that would, you know, fit, that would make sense, that would, you know, just sound good. But when it came across Pristine, the reason I liked it and I chose that was not only because it had my name, but because if you look up the definition, it does mean like to be in its original condition, to be like clean, neat. And that's what I wanted for my backdrop. I want my balloons to look good. I want them to look uniform. I want it to look just pristine, clean, good. And in its original state. So like for me, it was such a proud moment when I went to go pick up my backdrop that had been up for almost 4 weeks, like going on its 4th week. And it literally was pristine. It looked like it did on day 1. So I was so happy about that. And I feel like that was my proud moment where I was like, hell yeah, my name makes sense. Like it fits. That's my name. That's who I am.
You're literally living up to the name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So cool. That's where Priscilla Pristine comes into play. So Priscilla Pristine, but I'm Pristine Moments. So
that's pretty cool. That's really cool. You know, going back to the social media thing, the way I see social media nowadays when it comes to a business, it's almost like a resume. That's like what people see, right? And that's like what you're selling. So that's something that I keep in mind whenever we put out content. I try to, every time I post content or something, I wanted to pop out, and I want people to be interested in it. So that's a big challenge for us as well.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that there's days where I feel like I'm not posting enough, where I'm like lagging. I'm like, I'm supposed to be posting 3 times a day. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm like, I just don't have the time to do that. So I'm very proud of myself at how much I've grown and how many followers I've gained, how many clients I've gained just from what I'm currently doing. Because as much as I want to as well, like don't get me wrong, like I'm also a human, you know. I mentioned this earlier, like after I had my surgery, you know, I can't have kids anymore, but I fluctuated in weight, and for me, like that was very hard. Like that's another reason why I started my business, was because since I work from home, I've been doing it for like 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And since I started, I've gained like 40 pounds. So I told Andy, I was like, I need to get the hell out of the house, and I need to like, go work and go see people, civilization. Like I need to, cause I'm a very outgoing, bubbly person. Like I need to be around people. And, so that was another reason that's what motivated me to like get out there and like just be more active. And it's been going good. I even my weight loss journey, I'm not going to lie. I have been slacking. We do eat out all the time, as you see on my social media. We're always eating out.
Guilty. Same. Yeah.
So as much as I want to say like, oh, it's the stress, it's that. No, it's also that I have been slacking and that I haven't applied myself like I should. But I started this business because I wanted to get out there. I was just tired of being at my house because, like I was telling Andy, dude, I think I'm in the wrong field because I love accounting, but holy shit, I need to be around people. Like this is just a little too much for me. So I did. I got out, and that's what motivated me to start my business. Was I was like, okay, this is cool. I can provide a service. I can have fun. I get to meet all these incredible new people along the way, and it's just great. Like I was able to meet the owner of Blue Moon. I met Chewy over at Roll and Smoke, and you meet like-minded people that have businesses, that want to prosper, that want to be successful, and you want that. You want to surround yourself around people like that. Yeah. You know, and I think that that's something that my daughter's going to benefit from, and she's going to grow up in that environment that we didn't have. Because like, so my husband, he's white and he's from Nebraska. So he left home at a young age. He was like 18 when he enlisted in the military, and he's been gone ever since. But as Mexicans, we were taught at a young age, because of our culture and because of the way we were raised, that we need to be at home with the family. We're very sheltered. And no, you need to get out there. You need to see what's out there. You need to explore. You need to, you know, grow. And I want that for Sophia. Don't get me wrong. I love my hometown, and that's why we're here. You know, that's why we decided to, you know, settle down and be here. But I want Sophia to know that there are other options, that she's not just limited to what's here. That if she wants to go out to California, to New York, and she wants to become something more and try different things, like she can. There's nothing stopping her. You know what I mean? She just, of course, has to be careful and not overdo it, not go crazy. So as long as I'm here, hopefully for a long time, I can help her and guide her. But I do want her to know that there's other, and not to mention, you get new ideas. Like I follow these balloon artists from all over. Like there's this family, Balloon World, with Yaneli. She's over from California. Dude, that girl is amazing. She's Mexican. Her and her husband and her brother, they have their business, and they are just super like awesome, cool people. Like they are who they are, and that's why their fans love them, because they don't sugarcoat anything. They're not about bullshit. Like they say it how it is. Yeah. And that's what I want Sophia to see. Like, look, there's people in California, there's people in other states like us, that they're trying to grow their business, they're trying to get out there, they're trying to make their money, and that you can be that. Like it's not just here, like it's everywhere. Like you just have to want to do it. And tiene que salir de ti. No one's gonna do it for you. Yeah. So that's how I see that as well.
So, you know, speaking of growing the business, where do you see Pristine Moments in the next couple of years? What's the direction you want to take this?
You know what? That's a great question, because it's something that I have talked about with my family. One day I want to own my own hall. And I told my husband, he loves to cook. And I told him, like, how cool would it be to own our own salon where I can provide an awesome, like, but a badass balloon display as an add-on. You could do the catering. Like, holy shit, like we could be making money. Like that'd be awesome. Yeah. So for me, that's the end goal. Like that's what I'm working towards, is to one day have my own hall and be able to do that. And so far, everything that I'm doing right now is I'm taking the right steps and in the right direction, because it's teaching me how to do that. With every install, I'm learning new techniques. I'm learning new tricks. I'm seeing what works, what doesn't, what I prefer, what cuts my time in half. Like, and all this will help me so that one day when I, you know, my family and I can make that dream come true, we can just build, like Andy and I want to build that empire for Sophia. Mm-hmm. And we want to, you know, work to leave her what unfortunately was we weren't able to have. And I'm not saying that we come from bad families or no. Like my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, they're amazing people. They help us a lot. They love Andy and they're very well. They do. My father-in-law was a broker, a realtor. He had his own business. My mother-in-law got her degree in social work, but she's teaching. She's worked with the schools. Like, o sea, what I'm trying to say is that it's just Sophia, and I want to be able to leave her like an empire, so that if the day of tomorrow shit hits the fan and she needs to sell it, or she wants to invest, or she wants to do whatever she wants, mm-hmm. it's for her, because that's my baby, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want. So I want to do that for her. And I told Andy, I think that we're moving in the right direction, and he wants to start his food truck soon. So nice. I told him, just the way you're my angel investor right now, don't worry, one day I'm going to be I'm going to repay everything that you've done for me, because at the end of the day, Andy is my best friend. He is like, we have been through hell and back. We've been through our ups and downs. We've been through a lot. And friends, close family. Even if you had been my friends for years, you guys would have seen everything. But at the end of the day, that man is my best friend, and he's Sophia's dad. And I love him, and I'm always going to want what's best for him. And just the way he supports me with my dreams. And, dude, I'm telling you, it took me all like this long for me to realize what I want to do, and I'm loving what I do it, and I want to continue to pursue it. Yeah. And he's been through it all, through all the crazy career change, through all my moods. Get one day I want to do this, the next day I want to do that, the next day I want to do this. He supports me, like, and he's not once even, and it's crazy because even, you know how I mentioned about my weight, like, he's never been one to cut me down or say like, you're too fat, you need to go to the gym, or you've gained so much. Like, he's such a sweetheart, and he'll make little comments like, I'll be like, babe, how do I look? And then he'll be like, you look good, I'd hit that. And I'm like, shut up. I was like, you always say that, stop. Like, no, really, how do I look? I even get mad at him. I'm like, no, how do I look? Tell me the truth. You ain't gotta lie to kick it. Pero no, like, so that's our goal, and I want to be able to be there for him when it's his turn to follow his dream, the way he supported me with mine. Have
you thought about, because it sounds like you do a lot already with your business. It sounds like it's very intense. Have you thought about training somebody else other than like your daughter, maybe hiring somebody else?
You know what, I have, and I've actually had friends of mine that have told me, whenever you need help, let me know. Like, I'll be there. Like, you hire me, and I already have those connections and those friends and those people that are already coming to me and telling me, like, the day that you need me, I'll be here. Like, you can pay, like, so that's great to see, because I know, like, holy shit, I'm doing something right. If people are coming to me and they're seeing how successful this is going and how well we're doing, like, they're getting inspired and they want to do it too, you know what I mean? And that would be amazing. Like, if I could have a business where I could employ and help other people, and because I would be a great boss, because I've never been one, like, to, like, yo, like, and I'm just gonna be honest, yo no chingo a la gente, yo no dejo que me chinguen. That's how it is. And I've always been that type, and that's always been how I see it. And that's why God has helped me and blessed me, and I have all that I have, because I'm not a bad person. No tengo malicia. I don't do shit with mala intención. And that's how it has to be. You have to be wanting to do good things, want to be like de bien, con buen corazón, because that's how it's gonna go good for you. Así te va a ir bien. And so people have asked me to, and people have even asked me, like, well, have you considered selling marquee letters, like making them and selling them? I had one of my friends, this girl that she became friends with me on Instagram. I've never even met her in person, but her name's Chris. Shout out, Chris. That she told me, like, would you sell? Would you make me marquee letters and sell them to me? And I told her, you know what, girl, right now I'm not going to lie, but it's also because of the time constraint, because of just the lack of time. But I told her, not right now, because they're such a bitch to make. Like, it is so time consuming to make those huge marquee letters. And I'm like, the amount of work and time that goes into it, like, I don't think I'm ready to commit to, porque no les quiero quedar mal. Like for starters right now too, like, my numbers and my letters look awesome, but I need a sturdier base. Like, so that if they're outdoor and it's windy or whatever, they're not like wobbling or trying to tip over. So I need a stronger base. Like I already know what I need to fix.
So do you have like a whole alphabet of letters stored, or?
So right now I have like the vowels, A-E-I-O-U.
Oh, okay.
And then I have, no, so right now I'm not going to lie to you. I have what people have requested. So,
okay. So
like,
you've been making them as you go.
I go. I did get a quote to do, like I nomás que, and then that's another thing that I learned too, is that when I do my work, I can't rely on my clients to send me pictures, because sometimes, you know, they're hosting parties, they're attending their guests, they're moving, they have the kids running around, they have to cut the cake, they have to do this, they have to do that, so they don't have time to take pictures. And I had a client this past weekend that she requested they had a Halloween party, so she requested Boo, B-O-O, and I made them, I went and I set them up, but I forgot my phone at home. So but because I know her, dije, oh, it's okay, she's gonna send me the pictures, it's okay. Pero, pues unfortunately, when I went to go pick them up, she said, you know what, girl, I was so busy. I think maybe my mom might have one. So I'll get it from my mom. So I was like, shit, I'm not going to get the pictures. But I was like, okay, that's another lesson learned like that. No, I need to have my phone. I can't forget things. I need to have it with me so I can take pictures of my work and what I do. So what I'm planning to do for that is, tomorrow for Halloween, I want to set them up outside of my house and then just do like a cute little balloon garland with some of the balloons I have left, so people can see my letters, because they look awesome. She even told me they look awesome at night. Like they looked really pretty. That her dad even asked, that her dad had asked her, did you make those? And she's like, hi Dad, with what time? No, I didn't make those. I rented them. So yeah, so that's how it's going with the marquee letters. And I have considered, like I did tell myself, like if I could sell them or even rent them out for, you know, to my friends, to my other balloon artists. Like I did become part of a really cool balloon family based out of El Paso, the Creative Connect, and I went to our first networking event of I think it was like 2 months ago. Forgive me because I can't remember the time frames, but we went and I was able to meet a lot of local balloon artists that I follow, that I finally am able to put a face to the page, you know? So I'm like, all right, cool. And then like, so I met a lot of cool girls, a lot of good business owners and entrepreneurs like me that want to make something of themselves, and we're on the same boat. We're all starting off, we're learning as we go, we're helping each other out. And I think that's also been very helpful. So a lot of these girls have asked me too, like, have you, like, I remember one of my friends, Sadie, was like, have you used foam boards for your backdrops? And I'm like, girl, I haven't, but I freaking should, because these wood boards are killing my back. Like, they're so heavy. So like when Andy's not there and I have to lift them or move them myself, like, holy handbag, like those things are hella heavy. So I told her, you know, I haven't, but if you do, let me know how it goes. You know, maybe one of these days I'll try it. But as of right now, all my boards, because I want them to be sturdy, they're all made out of wood. They're all made out of the plywood sheets.
And what would this Creative Connect, that was like an event that was hosted in El Paso?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was an event that was hosted in El Paso. It was for all the local vendors. So it wasn't just balloon artists that went. There was a girl that does crafts, like she does bows. There were a lot of bakers that went. One of the business owners owned a pet grooming, a grooming for the pets. Like he owned his own pet grooming place. So it was nice to meet to just network. It was a networking event. And it was cool because, like I said, I was able to meet those business pages that I'm like, I've messaged them and I've talked to you. It's me. It's me. I was all excited. But it was cool. It was cool. And they're based out of El Paso, and they're actually they've tried to include me in a lot of events that they've recently had. But it's just been so hard because I have, like I said, I book up to 2 events. But by the time we get done with those 2 events, guys, like we're tired because it's just Andy and I. Like this last weekend too. My nephew was in town, so Sophia didn't help me. She was with my mom and my nephew all weekend. So it was just Andy and I. And dude, it's tiring, it's time consuming, and a lot of people don't realize that. So like when I give out a quote, it's funny because I think you mentioned earlier, like what's the hardest thing that's, you know, happened or that you've gone through. And another thing that I kind of get like sentida with, not sentida, but like I know that it is what it is I'm having conversations with potential clients and they're sending me their ideas. They want all kinds of stuff. And then the moment I give them my quote, ghost. Not even like, no, thank you. Which for me, it would have been easier for them to be like, you know what, that's out of my my budget, or, you know, I can, or is there any way to make it like, because I always include, like, with my, when I give out the first quote, it's always like the maximum that I'm willing to do, that I know I can handle. So it can be up to 5 boards, it could be cylinders, but nothing more than that. Like, I only quote what I know I can handle, and that I can handle on my own if for whatever reason Andy can't make it, you know. So there's been a lot of conversations where it's like I go out of my way. I even draw up a mock-up. I go on Canva. I do, like, I show them, look, this is the idea I have in my mind. This is what I want to provide you. This is what it'll look like. And then they just stop texting me. So I'm like, oh, shit. But I'm sorry. It is what it is. And I'm not gonna compromise my price, because the reason I'm quoting that is for a reason. Like, it takes time to make all those balloons, to arrange it. Like, the day that we had the baby shower at this past weekend at Blue Moon, we got there and it took us like 2 hours and 15 minutes to set that up, to do the floating bears, to do the centerpieces, and to do the backdrop. So I'm like, and that's not to mention the 8 hours I had already put in at work, because the bulk of the work is done at my house, and people don't see that. They don't see how much time really goes into painting the boards, blowing up the balloons, putting the vinyl on the boards, putting any other additional, like, work on it, like, you know, wood. If I want to put a wood sign, they don't see all that, because I just take it already prepped, so that when I get there, boom, I just put it in there, and all I have to focus on is the placement of the balloons.
And as far as, like, the types of events that you do, what kind of events do you do? So, like, you talked about baby showers, weddings, quinceañeras, stuff like that, or?
Yeah, no, so I do it all. If you want to quote, like, I've told friends and family that have asked me, like, well, do you limit yourself to certain things? I'm like, no, dude, if you are getting a divorce and you just got the paperwork in the mail, you want to throw a freaking divorce party, let's do it. You know, I'll do it. If you want a bachelor party, if you want whatever, like, I'm down for whatever. I'm waiting to get some of those, like, clients, so that I can really let it out with, like, all the ideas that I have. So far I've had a lot of quinceañeras, I've had birthday parties, I've had baby showers, but I haven't had one of those yet, like
something freaky,
like something something different, you know.
Raleigh, let's do it, dude.
You guys, come on. Let's team up on this.
The 500 subscribers.
The 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something for 500 subscribers, like throw a party somewhere, but I don't know. It kind of just hit us out of nowhere. So now,
but
maybe at the end of the year.
Is that how many you currently? Don't you guys have like 900 subscribers on YouTube?
No, I wish. No, we
that?
On Instagram we have about
Yes, that's right,
followers,
on Instagram.
yeah.
Because right now what I'm trying to do is I want to reach 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I can do a giveaway. But my giveaway, I want the giveaway to be a backdrop that's priced at like over $1,000. So it's gonna include boards, candy bags. It's gonna include the balloons, like a centerpiece, like a fruit cart. Like you're looking at something that's like maybe even like up to $2,000, like that I want to give away. And then I know that there's a lot of graduations coming up, so I'm trying to get those 1,000 followers by May, so that would be like a super cool graduation gift for someone.
What are you at right now?
Yeah. Or even now for December. Cause
no, like what are you at right now?
I was like, well, yeah, you're right, because December's right around the corner. My husband's graduating in December, so, you know. Right now I'm at 575, I believe.
And you've been doing this for how long?
For
about
6
a year,
months.
6 months? You'll get there.
6 months, yeah. 6 months. My first post was February, but that was Diamond's Garden, so that doesn't count. And then my first official one was like in April. Like April was the very first one that I did. So from April to now, it's been 6 months. And then another thing too, as far when like going back to pricing, is that Pristine Moments is an LLC. We are established in El Paso and New Mexico, in Texas and New Mexico. So now I have to pay taxes every quarter. And so if I have an event like this last one that I had at Blue Moon, I have to give them a quote, but then like I'll tell my clients, like, if this is something for businesses, if you're gonna write it off, that's perfectly fine, but I just have to include that GTR rate in there. So, and then plus of course every area is different. So it was funny because I told Luz, I told my client, I said, you know what? She was ready to pay me the other half of the monies on Sunday. And I told her, you know what? Hold that thought, because I haven't seen what your GTR rate is right now, and I don't want to charge you either too much or too little. And so she was like, are you sure, mija? And I'm like, yeah. So I went back and I calculated it. I saw the area. I included it in her invoice, and I sent it over. And she was like, oh my God, mija, even your invoice is so cute, because they're like pink and gold. But it was cool. Like, but what people need to also understand is that now, like, that is something that I have to include. Like, that is, especially if we're going to write it off, like, I need to include that GTR rate in there. So,
well, I mean, that comes in handy that, you know, you're an accountant, so you know all that stuff.
Yeah, no, and it makes it a lot easier for sure. But believe it or not, Andy's the one that takes care of that. My husband helps me a lot with our pricing, with our profit margin, with knowing, like, what we have to charge. What I know for sure is that, like, the profit margin that I want to make every backdrop is 15%. So whatever I quote, that's what I'm trying to make. But Andy and I, we clash sometimes because, like, pues I know some of my friends, some of my clients, especially in this area, but, you know, I was born and raised here, you know.
Yeah.
It's not the same someone from Anthony versus someone from, you know, the country club.
Yeah.
So I take that into and Andy
Get the
tells me
homie
you
hookup.
can't. Yeah, and Andy tells me you can't do that. You're a business. You need to, you know, act like a business, and you need to be straight across the board. You can't be playing that favoritism. But it's because, dude, like, I had one of my clients, and it was so funny because I love her. She hired me to do her son's backdrop, but then when she gave me the payment, she goes, here, but when you go to my house, don't tell my husband, say that my cousin or that my sister gifted you the backdrop. So I'm like, dude, I can totally relate because I've been there. so like, you know, like, that's why with her I was like, no, you know what, just give me this and we're good. Like, I'm okay. It's okay if I don't make that much. I don't care. But I'm gonna do a badass backdrop for your son. It's gonna look awesome because I've been there. I know you work 2 different jobs. You put in double shifts. Like, I've been there. But at the same time, I'm a business. I can't be doing that, and I can't do that for all my clients, you know. So that was at the beginning. Now, unfortunately, like, I do have to charge, like, what I'm worth, and not only that, but just the material alone, you guys. That's expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine. But you've grown a lot. I don't even remember how I ran into your profile, or how I just started. I've been following you for a while now.
Yeah.
But I've seen the growth, and that's pretty cool. And now that I've gotten to talk to you and know more about you, I see why. You know, it's, you know, you do a lot of great work, and you're very genuine, and you put a lot of passion. I see a lot of passion whenever you speak and you talk about your work, and that's refreshing to hear, and definitely inspiring for even for us, because I you know, we're trying to do our thing too. So that's pretty awesome. Any final thoughts that you wanna say before we wrap up this podcast?
The only thing I do want to say is to, especially the kids, the high schoolers, the people watching this, is if you have something in mind or you want to try something, do it. Because it's only by doing it and by failing that you're going to learn from it. And, dude, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at. Like, I was like this for a lot of years. I was uncertain. I didn't know. And it was only through, like, trial and error that I learned. And I'm still learning as I go. But I can honestly say that I found something that I love that's mine, that no one can take away from me, because it's me. It's my creativity. It's my ideas. It's the relationships. It's who I am as a person. And you might not, if you don't like me, that's okay, but respect me. And that's how I am with people. You know, sometimes we might not see eye to eye. I might not. Si te caigo gorda, pues I'm sorry. But just don't disrespect me, you know? Yeah. And so for the young kids, my thing is that if you want to try it. And don't be afraid, especially the kids in this area. Like, we're so sheltered. We're so close and, like, with our families, and we're scared to leave. And it's like, no, dude, don't be scared, because there's a big world out there. Yeah. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Arizona. You know, my husband's from Nebraska, and I've learned and I've seen so much that's like my best advice for the kids right now is don't wait until you're 33 like me to do it. Like, do it sooner, dude. I could have already had like 2 halls and a catering business, you know. Yeah. Pero you're so scared, and that's another. And even now, I would be lying if I said, like, no. I get scared. There's days where I'm like, I second guess myself, and I don't want to mess up. And Andy tells me, you need to stop being scared. You need to stop and you need to do it and you need to get it done. And so thankfully he's always been that little shove that I need him and my family. But and I can't even say my mom, because my mom's always been miedosa too, like no, pues no lo hagas, o no, mejor quédate aquí. Pero but I know she does it because she loves me and she wants me to be okay. But no, sometimes we need to take risks and we need to just do it. Just fucking do it and get out there and try it. The worst that can happen is no. There have been a lot of people that have reached out to me and they end up not booking, and you know what, it's okay. At least I have an idea, so that, guess what, when the next Monsters Inc. inquiry comes around, check out this idea that I have. And it works out, it worked out. So yeah. So I think that's just the only advice that I have. And, thankfully I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I still have a long ways to go, and I hope everyone sticks around for the journey. And if I can help you in any way, oh, and then that's another thing with my clients. If you're watching and you want a backdrop, always let me know what your budget is. Dude, I don't judge. I don't discriminate. I get it. Like if you say, hey, Priscilla, you know what? For real, I only have $200. I can be like, you know what? For $200, I can do you this. I can do one board with at least 6 feet inch garland, and I can include this vinyl, or I can, and if you bring me your props, we can include it in there. I'll work with you. I've always been that type of person. So just, let me know what you're willing to spend and what's in your price range, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Yeah. Very inspiring.
That's good shit.
Good stuff. Raleigh, I don't know how you're going to top that, dude. Any final words?
Nothing.
Okay, you guys, to the audience listening, when we started, I told them, you guys, I talk a lot. I go on. So if you guys need me to stop, or I ramble off, or I need to navigate back, blink twice, Raleigh. Blink twice. Honestly, I wouldn't have known because I never looked over to see if you were blinking.
Raleigh's like...
He's like...
His eyes are dried out.
Oh, man. Sal, any final words?
No, I'm good. As a good story. Love listening to just how you got started and what you do. So good luck and keep doing what you do.
Thank you guys.
No,
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And like I said, it's very inspiring to hear. I love listening to entrepreneurs and how they're doing, because it's giving us hope, that we can do something better. So thank you for coming. Make sure you follow Priscilla, Pristine Moments on Instagram. Let's get her to 1,000 followers, right? So you can do that big giveaway.
Singers, Gadsden.
There
Singers. You go. That's my school. That's my hotel. Panther. That's why I'm like, Panthers.
Let's go.
Free backdrop for graduation.
There's time, and if you don't graduate, that's fine. You can use it for something else.
Yeah. Like I said, I do any events, whatever you want. Yeah. I'm open to it all.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is a great episode. We're gonna wrap it up. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and show Priscilla some love. All right.
Awesome. Thank you
guys.
Appreciate it. Yay.